I noticed you were from Morganton, North Carolina. We have a business there, Carolina Shoe. We made work boots, and I gave a talk at University of North Carolina some time ago. In fact, I think they have a tape of it still. And afterwards, I'd mentioned in the talk that we had this business in Morganton, and one of the students came up to me afterwards. And there were a number of them, and I shook his hand, and making idle conversation, I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Morganton." And I said, "Oh," I said, "do you know Carolina Shoe?" And he thought a second. He said, "I don't know her, but I think I know her family." Never forgotten that fellow.
I don't like multitasking. I see these people doing three things at once, and I think, God, what a terrible way that is to think. Well, there are a whole lot of things I don't think about, and one of them is companies that are losing $2 or $3 billion a year and going public. The general system for money management requires people to pretend that they can do something that they can't do, and to pretend to like it when they really don't. I think that's a terrible way to spend your life, but it's very well paid.
Welcome back, rich followers. We hope this video inspires you to get started on your dream. So please watch until the end. And if you are new here, consider subscribing so that you won't miss other educational videos like this. Let's get started. In this video, we go over some of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger's famous quotes and sayings to questions that people have wanted to know.
I like cryptocurrencies a lot less than you do. And I think the people who are professional traders that go into trading cryptocurrencies, it's just disgusting. It's like somebody else is trading turds and you decide I can't be left out. I would rather throw a viper down my shirt front than hire a compensation consultant. I think I've offended enough people.
Right. We could conceivably buy a business, I don't think we would be likely to, that had no current after-tax cash flow, but we would have to think it had a tremendous future. Obviously, the current figures, particularly in the kind of businesses we buy, tend to be representative, we think, of what's going to happen in the future. But that would not necessarily have to be the case. You can argue, for example, in buying stock at a time when it was losing significant money. We didn't expect it to continue to lose significant money. But if we think the present value of the future earning power is attractive enough compared to the purchase price, we would not be overwhelmed by what the first year's figure would be. Charlie, you want to add to that?
Yeah, we don't care what we report in the first year or two of after buying anything.
I think few business operations have ever been constructed to require so little continuing intelligence in corporate headquarters. An idiot who was willing just to sit here would have a very good record long after the present incumbents were dead.
What is your next goal in life now that you're the richest man in the country?
That's easy. It's to be the oldest man in the country. If somebody tells us the business is going to change a lot, in Wall Street they love to tell you that, that's great opportunity. They don't think it's a great opportunity when Wall Street itself is going to change a lot, incidentally. But it's a great opportunity. We don't think it's an opportunity at all. It scares the hell out of us because we don't know how things are going to change. When people are chewing gum, we have a pretty good idea how they chewed it 20 years ago and how they'll chew it 20 years from now. And we don't really see a lot of technology going into the art of the chew. It takes the interests of parents, and frankly, it takes the interests of the well-to-do in the school system to keep a first-class school system. I've said that to some extent, a good public school system is a lot like virginity. It can be preserved but not restored. We are looking for people that have a passion that extends beyond their paycheck every week or every month for their business. Beyond this passion, we're looking for intelligence, we're looking for energy, and we're looking for integrity. If they don't have the last, the first two will kill you, because if you hire somebody without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy, don't you? Being put on the comp committee of American corporations, as I've said, they're looking for chihuahuas and not Great Danes or Dobermans. And I hope I'm not insulting any of my friends that are on comp committees.
You're insulting the dogs.
No. You just got to fill up your mind with various competing thoughts and sort them out as to what really makes sense over time. And then once you've done a lot of that, I think you have to jump in the water, because investing on paper and investing with real money is like the difference between reading a romance novel and doing something else. So I always tell the the kids that come visit me, I tell them, go to work for an organization you admire or an individual you admire. That means that many of them become self-employed, but I sit here as somebody who, in the last 30 years, 1/4 of all the calories I've consumed come from Coca-Cola. And that is not an exaggeration. I am 1/4 Coca-Cola. I'm not sure which quarter. I think there's a lot to be said about being happy with what you're doing. If I'd been eating broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all that all my life, I don't think I'd live as long. Every meal I would approach thinking it's like going to jail or something. And
Charlie is always the one that gets the girl. And he has one explanation for that, but I think mine is more accurate. That, as you know, every mother in this country tells her daughter at an early age, if you're choosing between two very old and very rich guys, pick the one that's older.
I have avoided all my life compensation consultants. To me, it's I hardly can find the words to express my contempt.
I will say this, if the board hires a compensation consultant after I go, I will come back. You know, at one time or another, I've said everything I know and a good bit more. So I really feel that the annual reports are sort of a book on the installment system. Plus, I think very few people write 2 books, and I have this kind of unwarranted optimism, I guess, that the best is always yet to come and that there are a lot more interesting things are going to happen, and I would hate to preclude commenting on those. So I think it's going to be a few years, but I may get around to it at some point. But I think maybe it'd be a bad sign if it happened, because it might be that I really thought that what I was writing about was more important than what was going to happen next. Charlie, are you going to write a book?
No, but your comment about why you are unable to write a book reminds me of the Middle Western fellow who left an unfinished manuscript, and he apologized for not finishing his book, which was entitled Famous Middle Western Sons of Bitches. And he said he was always meeting a new one, and therefore he could never finish the book.
As a courtesy, Charlie and I are leaving each other out of the book that we write.
Sure, there are a lot of things in life way more important than wealth. All that said, some people do get confused. I play golf with a man, he says, what good is health? You can't buy money with it. I think you can do things like they do in Italy when they have trouble with the mail. You know, it piles up and irritates the postal employees. They just throw away a few carloads, and then everything's floatly thereafter.
Folks, that happened in some unnamed international country.
Yeah, Italy. One reminds me, once I asked the man who just left a large investment bank, and I said, how does your firm make its money? He said, off the top, off the bottom, off both sides, and in the middle.
I have a friend whose grandmother used to say that she couldn't understand why people got into envy, jealousy, because it was the only one of the sins that you could never possibly have any fun at. And generally speaking, on Wall Street, I think a lot of people have had the wrong kind of grandmothers.
We have a big advantage in that, as contrasted to virtually almost every other company, we now and in the future are willing, eager to buy parts of wonderful businesses or all of them. Most investors are limited to buying parts of businesses, and most managers psychologically are geared to owning all of something that they can run themselves. I think Woody Allen said some years ago, it's the advantage of being bisexual is that it doubles your chances of a date on Saturday night, and we can go either direction in that respect. Ben Graham used the example of Mr. Market, and we've used it. I've copied it in the report. And Ben said, but just imagine that when you buy a stock that in effect, you've bought into a business where you have this obliging partner who comes around every day and offers you a price at which you'll either buy or sell, and the price is identical. And no one ever gets that in a private business where daily you get a buy-sell offer by a party, but in the stock market you get it. That's a huge advantage. And it's a bigger advantage if this partner of yours is a heavy-drinking manic depressive.
It's been a death trap for investors ever since Orville took off. As I've said, if there had been a capitalist at Kitty Hawk, he should have shot down Orville and done us all a favor.
If you found value in this video, we would like to give you another video for you to enjoy next. Please like this video and share it with your friends on social media. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, so you won't miss another one of our videos. The more you learn, the more you earn.